Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box, the Technical Trader. Tuesday night, October the 18th. It's the charts of the day. On the long side today, quite a few stocks stood out for me. I wanted to show you some movers. ORS, Zelliant Technologies, which was in a distinct 4 or 5 month down channel. Broke out a little bit, sticking its head out yesterday. And today popped with authority, up 77 cents, 56%. 813,000 shares, by far the biggest volume in about 4 months. And it broke up through the declining top sign and 50-day moving average, taking out lateral price resistance as well, and closing near the upper end of the range, which means we may very well see more movement tomorrow, and I have a target around 3.25, possibly as high as just under 4. Halozyme had a big day today. As you can see, stock was in a declining top sign for the last year and a half, and it broke up through the most recent several months resistance with a breakaway gap on news. Got all the way up to 760, closed 735 with $1.15 or 18.5%. But more than 3 million traded. That's very heavy volume for that stock, which averages a lot less than that. So, significant day perhaps. I'm looking for more upside and follow through to 8.25 short term. Secondary target at 9. One of my favorite junior oils, and a Bakken region junior as well. Let me just delete some of the stuff here for which got my way here. I want to show you the channel and trend that took place the last few sessions. After a nice run from 360 up to about 5, the stock backed off to 460. And it came on again in the last 4 sessions, moving from 460 to 624 today. And there is declining top line resistance up around 670, 75, maybe 7 in that zone, but I do expect we can reach up there before we get any substantial pullback. CIE. One of my other favorite junior oils had a massive reversal in the last 2 weeks. It took it from 6.5 to nearly 11, right up against resistance in this resistance zone, but it has broken through the snapback high in September and the 21-50-day moving averages, so we have an important resistance level here to contend with. Now, any pullback down in this zone that holds the 8.5, 3/4 range, maybe 9, could be a very attractive opportunity provided it comes back on low volume. Let's see what develops, but it may very well also extend to 12, 12.25 before it does do the pull back. Nice developing pattern on AUTH. Over the course of the last couple of years, a nice base has been formed. There's a huge gap from the down move in the fall of 2008. But ever since then, it's been building a large base which can support a huge move. And I'm looking for a long-term move that takes us up towards 11-13 zone. But short-term target is around 6.25 if it does fill that gap. If you take a look at the daily chart, you see it's up right up against it here. Today it was up 7% or 26 cents, but it's right up against key resistance. Volume's improving, so we're technicals. We may very well get a price volume surge and a spike here, so keep close tabs on AUTH. Swing trade SIMO acting very well. Has popped from about 10.25 up to more than 15 just in the last couple of weeks. Now, if it filled my first swing trade target, I believe, but we're looking at 18 as my secondary target. Acura ACUR, I wanted to point this out because this little mini base, which it exploded through and then formed a flag here, has moved sharply higher again, up another 28 cents or nearly 6% today. Volume's decent, but not heavy. It's a thinly traded stock, and we may look at a target up around 6.5 next. INHX and Hibitex also on the run, taking out the declining top line of 50-day, thrusting yesterday and following through today with another 21 cents or almost 6%. 750,000 traded, pretty good volume for that stock. I would look for a test of the 4.5, 465 zone, maybe as high as 5, 5.25 over the course of the next several sessions, potentially. Swing trade ANR had a nice snapback session, up $1.10 or 5.5% today. 10.7 million traded today. If you look at the overall pattern, you'll see that this may be a little basing pattern, and I'd love to see it get out over the declining, well, this lateral price resistance in the zone here. Let's call it that. A movement above that could test this gap here and that low there up around 25.50. That would be my short-term target, perhaps as high as 26. Juniper, another swing trade idea of mine, popped nicely today, up $1.01 or 5%. You can see lateral price resistance around 22.5. Backed it off today, reaching 22.10, but closing at 21.41. Still up nearly 5% on 22.4 million shares. That's the biggest volume in a few months now. So we'll see what happens when we get to 22.5. But if we do get through, I'd look for additional progress at 25, 25.5. Next med NXTM, which has taken out this declining tops line and lateral price resistance, is now on the move. And today, 3/4 million traded up 89 cents or 4%, but the clean breakout puts it at a new 5-month high, and now we're headed for a test of perhaps 24 3/4. The next trading target for NXTM, secondary target 26 3/4, up at this spike high here in January. OPK acting very well. OPCO Health continues to trend nicely, and a very strong surge to the upside, which took out this lateral price resistance here. It's paused for a day to pull back and retest that, and then today spiked up another 20 cents for almost 4%. 4 million traded. Unbalanced volume is surging. There is some resistance overhead at around 570, but I think we can eventually, if we step back here and take a look at the overall pattern, reach somewhere up near the 6 3/4, 7 zone for OPK. ESIC, you can see broke out, paused for a couple of days, backed off to retest, and then it's reversed from 518 to 573, goes to 556, up 20 cents, but I'm looking for more upside. I think now that we've broken through this key resistance zone and retested it, we can make a move up towards the top of the channel and to retest this high set last in July up around 630 short term, secondary target 7.5. OPTT, I wanted to show you this because of the surge it's had recently. And where we're testing now the key lateral price resistance going back a year and a half. And although we've broken the declining top line and that resistance line, we've made it up towards here. So it's moved from about 2 1/4 to 475, more than doubling. And it may be very well be due for a rest, but I would watch this within the course of the next week or two for opportunities, as it looks like it's due for a pullback, but that could be a buying opportunity. Look at the thrust here, an unbalanced volume, and a solid green balance apparent and money stream. Very, very strong surge here. If we do get above this 470 range, my target would be a retest of the highs up around 570 and then as high as 670. GLNG, one of my favorites last year, which came down hard in August and bounced here, retested again in early October. But it's look how that stock has snapped back in the last couple weeks here from 28 up to 36. Now, this is the declining top line that if taken out could lead to a big move. And the reason I say that is the beta is a strong 2.12, which means it moves more than twice the amount of the average stock and when the market does move. So keep an eye on that. It's a breakout point. If it does back off here, watch for a retest of 32, 32.5 for a possible entry. QCOR. After the recent move that it had here, strongly from 24 up to 34, it pulled back today, this morning, at 31.67, but spiked right back to 33.61, up 70 cents or 2%, but a nice reversal on the day, a pretty good volume. Let's see if we can get up through the 35 area and move up into the near 40 zone, which is my trading target and swing trade target for QCOR, so current swing trade position of ours. Mistress Group, been in a fantastic rising channel the last year, year and a half. Continues to look great, even though it backed up this morning. It reversed and closed up on the day. Although it was only at 33 cents, it was still the second highest closing it's ever had. I'm looking for a test of the trend channel, top around 24 short term. STMP, another swing trade of ours, which is paused here to consolidate, is doing very well, doing that very well on lower volume. I'm looking for a move up through 26.5 and then a move into the 30-31 zone as my trading target. Brings us to MyTech. Thrusting nicely has moved from 830 to 1222, nearly 50% just in the last couple weeks. And although we're approaching the 13-13-10 zone, which is resistance, I do believe the stock eventually makes it up to 1670. I'd love to see a pullback buying opportunity down here, but we shall see. And lastly is Right Now, which is also a swing trade opportunity of ours, or a swing trade idea of ours. Broke this. It broke this line and then pulled back and then moved up. So we'll call this good for now, and that is the with a target up around the 44-45 area.